have three of my, I would say, top 20 favorite things going on for this end of the season episode. Talking baseball, obviously, because you're listening to us, so you know that we're talking about baseball. Got college football going on in the background behind the camera. For those of you watching, I'm pointing behind the camera on YouTube. And brunch. Mimosas. Yeah, we got that Sosa. Bottomless mimosas.
Good times. And you know what? We need it. We deserve it.
Yeah, we decided to do another morning pod this week, and it's on Saturday, so we're brunching it up.
Brunching it up.
Welcome to Town Tailgate Podcast. I am Chris Madrigal. That is Julio Reynoso on the other side of me. This is a powered and part of the Around the Diamond Podcast Network. Make sure to check out Around the Diamond. They are expanding a lot. They're hiring people. I don't know if you would like to get into sports media, writing, social media, podcasting, producing. Check it out. They've been posting a lot of job openings, but not for us. We do all our stuff in-house. Julio, the season is over officially. It ended on
Wednesday. Playoff contention
Wednesday.
Season.
Yeah.
Yes.
This weekend we were playing the Astros, but there's still a pretty hot race going on in the American League. There is a pretty interesting MVP race going on in the National League as well. We had a Brewers pitcher who made a very stupid mistake. And of course, we're going to talk A's and just soak our sorrows and find out what the hell went wrong in today's episode. But first, Julio, let's talk about this dude. I'll let you kick it off.
Devin, not the dude, is what I put in our show notes because, you know, Bay Area rapper Devin the dude. Kind of a little shout out. Anyways, Devin Williams, relief pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. You know, Milwaukee Brewers fan club, we're their biggest fans. There's no way you can correct us on that. They clinched the division this just a few days ago. And a part of the celebration, you know, things are going great. You know, when you're celebrating, you drink a little too much, and that happens. It's totally normal. But he got frustrated with himself over something that night. There's no specifics.
It's probably a girl, let's be honest.
Yeah, or he lost in beer pong and somebody called him like a bitch.
It's probably a girl.
Yeah. But he punched a wall or punched a door and it fractured his hand. He will be set on the 10-day IL and he will miss the remaining of the season, aka he will be out all the postseason. Why is this much of a big deal? Devin Williams, if you're not aware, has been one of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball. He was the NL
closer on 25 of the 30 teams.
Yes, absolutely. But Josh Hader's there, who's pretty electric. He was the NL Rookie of the Year last year when he posted a 2.5 ERA with 87 strikeouts in only 54 innings. He was on his way this season for having another outstanding year, but injuries that freak injury kind of happened and his season's over. I think we've all had those moments where you're just kind of in a fit of rage and just like something. And this is just not the right timing of it all. And now his season's over. The Brewers, who we are both, again, huge fans, lifelong Brewer fans. Let's go Robin Yount. I think we both were kind of in like if we were betting men, which we are, we would put money on them to go to the World Series. I think that, and I think they match up really well. But without that guy there,
I placed a future bet. Yeah.
Hell yeah, good for you then. But without him there,
not anymore.
Yeah, but without him there, screws up everything, Chris.
You make fun of me all the time for being like an angry person and I guess flamboyant in that way. I don't think I am. I'm just a passionate person. I'm loud. I think but people associate those things with being like angry and mad. I've never been this upset in my life. I've never punched a wall. I've never been so just built on rage that I have to just physically do something, dominate something in order to take it out. I don't know what the fuck happened to this guy that night. He's clearly very fucked up, which makes sense. They just clinched it. But this completely screws. Apparently, this is from what I heard Craig Counsell's strategy was going to be going into the playoffs, which we've seen this work before, so I don't blame them. They have 2 dominant starting pitchers, and they have 2 dominant closers. So their game plan was they were going to ride those 4 pitchers. They, maybe like one of these other guys would be in the mix, like maybe Brett Anderson would start a game, but they were going to ride those 4 pitchers the entire postseason. Unless they absolutely had to or got in some trouble, they were going to use 2 starters and just go back to back starts, and then try and close it out with their 2 closers. Like that it was a really weird strategy for those of you who are like kind of like confused by that, but apparently that's what they were going to do. We've seen it done before. The Cubs used a variation of it. They used 4 starters, but they also really kind of relied on two relievers in their World Series run, and that was Carl. What the fuck is his name?
I was gonna say Carl Weathers.
No, the black dude.
I know you're talking. Crap. Anyways, and Chapman, right?
Him and Chapman, and it can work. Sometimes it also can bite you in the ass. But if you don't trust any of your other bullpen or any other starters, it can be a redeeming strategy. Anyway, that was going to be their strategy. That strategy is completely fucked now. So now they have to rely on these other guys that are in their pitching staff. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. It's going to be very interesting to see that first round against the Atlanta Braves, how they structure this. Game 3 will be the big game to keep a lookout for and see if they stick to the strategy or not. If Brandon Woodruff starts game 3 instead of Hauser or Anderson or Peralta, it's a big sign of what their pitching strategy is going to be.
Carl Edwards Jr.
Carl Edwards Jr. There it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it sounds like he sounds like a.
And they ran him into the ground, and he completely fell off after that season. He had a great season that season, but like they just fucking overran. They over pitched him, and he just like his career has not been the same ever since then. I'm not a big fan of the strategy, but whatever.
Yeah. Also, you got to give a shout out. You can't disrespect to Freddie Peralta was an all-star this year.
He was.
2.81 and still to end the season, 2.81 ERA, 195 strikeouts, 144 innings pitched. So like rotation, I think they're fine. They're going to be okay.
But Julio, if you have 2 of the top 10 best pitchers in the league this year, like it makes sense why Craig Counsell will be like, let's do this and ride these 2 guys. But again, I don't agree with the strategy, but it is a strategy that teams have used in the past, and apparently he was going to try.
Interesting. I
heard June Lee talk about that on the Daily.
June Lee. The rest of the
might not be June.
The pen is interesting. You've got the likes of former Giant great Hunter Strickland, who's actually had a pretty good year out there. Yeah, very surprising. And plus, they picked up John Axford, and then he went immediately on the IL. He hasn't pitched.
Former Oakland great.
Former Oakland great. You're pretty much now going to be relying on those guys that you mentioned, and then Peralta, and then if you have to put like Boxberger if you have to put like Adrian Hauser or Brett Anderson, you got to hope all those guys are going to go at least 7 innings deep, because
and they can do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting situation. Now, Chris, they're going to be playing the Braves in the NLDS. Almost upset alert, or do you still think they're going to be able to run away with it?
I like the Brewers pitching better than. That's why I was kind of shocked to hear that Craig Counsell was thinking about doing the 4 pitcher strategy, because like I really like their pitching staff, their rotation, and their bullpen. These middle reliever guys are above average for middle reliever pitchers. So no, I still like it. Also, you got to go. So in a 5-game series, so you have to go against Woodruff and I would assume that Woodruff and Burns pitch 2 games or each in that series, because you have to ride your hot hand. So in a 5-game series, you have to go against those 2 guys. Like in the season they're having, like that's fucking brutal. I know the Braves have a great pitching staff. They do. And they've made it work, but they're young, they're inexperienced, and yeah, man. I don't know.
I was trying to pull up odds, but we don't have playoff odds. playoff series odds up yet, or else I'd quiz you. Anyways,
dude, and that
moving on to the next topic.
And that outfield that the Brewers have, like, dirty.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make noise. There's a reason why we've been hyping them up this whole year. Like, even if some of those guys have been kind of underperforming, Yelich was a little bit down. If you look at like the last month plus,
yeah, but
he's been kind of going back to his normal self. He's still a star, man.
Yeah. Willie Adames, every time I see him, I'm like, man, I wish the A's had traded for him instead. Anyway.
God damn it. I really wish you didn't tell me that, because if you put him in place of Elvis, he would have. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
NL MVP race. I read something pretty interesting too, Chris. There's a really good chance that for the first time since the mid 80s, both MVP winners will not be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's yeah. At the same time, but like, dude, they're like, okay, just quick pitch, and then you can continue, because I heard Jeff Passan talk about this on ESPN Daily. As great of a season as Vlad Jr. has had, the fact that as great a season he's had, he still only accounts for one player on that team. He is God damn it. Accounts for one player on that team. He puts up stats for one player on that team. He is the equivalent of one player. He's a star player. He's putting up big numbers, but he's still only one guy, and he can only affect the game as one player of the team. Shohei Ohtani is two guys. So you're getting two for the price of one with Shohei Ohtani, because he can pitch and he can hit bombs like nobody's business. And if you really need him to, he can play the outfield in a dire situation. That's why Shohei Ohtani is the MVP. He will probably be in the running for MVP for the rest of his career, if not win it, kind of like Trout is, because he is two players in one. There's nothing you could ever change that. It doesn't matter how good the team is around him. He is two players for the price of one. So because of that, he should be rewarded for that. And I completely agree. Anyway, NL MVP.
All right, here we are. It's a three-man race, Chris. It's going to come down to Juan Soto from the Washington Nationals, former Washington National, current Philadelphia Philly, Bryce Harper, and San Diego Padre Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm going to go ahead and, Chris, like I mentioned earlier, we are, if we were betting men, which we are, and you are a little more than I am, I'm going to give you these odds. You're going to tell me how you're feeling with it, okay?
Okay.
Bryce Harper right now is the favorite at negative 275. Juan Soto is plus 325, and then Fernando Tatis Jr. is plus 600. Now, I'm going to go ahead and message you some of the numbers, because we didn't get a chance to really talk about it too much. They're all pretty much intertwined in who is leading what. Either if one person isn't leading one offensive category, the other person is. Right now, for WAR for position players, Fernando Tatis is in the lead with 7.2. Offensive WAR, or I'm sorry, Juan Soto is. Offensive WAR is Tatis with 7.3. Trey Turner is leading at batting average. He's batting 327. He's going to be on the outside looking in, unfortunately. But Juan Soto, 317. Bryce Harper, 308. Juan Soto has a 470 on-base percentage, dude. Mm-hmm. He's become like the most disciplined player in all of baseball overnight. And we all kind of knew it. But in terms of the slugging on base, though, Bryce Harper is leading in both. Nando, even though he's missed about 30 plus games, he's leading the league in home runs. He's hit 25 plus doubles, and he's got 30. Or no, that's not 32. He's got 25 steals. And he's up there. I saw a stat from Danny Vietti from CBS Sports where he's only the 13th player ever to hit at least, it was like 40 home runs, still 25 bases, and get I think it's like 25 doubles along those lines.
Okay.
And he missed 30 games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised to see at least the betting odds that were from, I can't remember which site I got it from, but to see Bryce kind of that far ahead to be the favorite is a little bit of I'm a little confused by it after looking at all those numbers.
Well, it's because his team was still in the race. at the very end.
It's true, and the Padres didn't just completely shit the bed.
Yeah, they're 4 games back from Atlanta. They were in it until the last week of the playoffs. And also, had St. Louis not gone on the 17-game win streak, who knows what the final results of that would be. They'd still be in the mix with the wild card, which would be kind of depressing because they only have 82 wins right now. There's 2 games left in the season, but whatever. So I think that's the reason why, and he was a big part of that. Like, San Diego just completely choked, and Tatis been putting up big numbers, but I mean they're 1-9 in the last 10. Like, that's I think also part of it is like you have to show leadership, and I don't think that clip of him arguing with Manny Machado helped his case much, because that, especially older writers who have MVP votes, they're going to take that a lot more personally than our generation would. But Tatis was the front runner for most of the season. So does he get a little bit of credit for being the front runner for most of the season? In the past, we have seen that not be the case, like with Greinke and Arrieta for the 2015 Cy Young. Like, Greinke was the best pitcher all season, but Arrieta turned it on in the last 2 months of the season, so he got the Cy Young. But like, for me, Juan Soto doesn't deserve it. No.
Really?
In terms of odds, I would take Tatis plus 600. That sounds great.
That's true. And you brought up a good point that I think he probably has alienated a little bit of those old school writers.
Yeah.
Kind of his attitude about, with that situation, and just kind of his flamboyance with it, which I think is all awesome. We talked about the whole argument thing. We made our 2 cents about it. Yeah. But in terms of his personality and his flamboyance of how he plays, I think it's awesome, and he shouldn't be punished for it.
In that situation, he was in the wrong, in my opinion, with Machado. But everything else about him, I love. Yeah, he's bringing fun back to baseball.
Now, I will say this, though, to kind of have a double-edged sword here. We talk about how, if he had a full season, or if he played at least another 20 games, who knows what his numbers would have been, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, though, well, if he had a full season, who knows if his numbers could have dipped a little bit. His average had fallen off. His strikeout rate was starting to go back up in the second half, or was going up in the second half of the season. And he's kind of he has those moments where he is prone to be kind of go big or go home. He's like, I'm just going to hit the shit out of the ball and try to drive it out, which he did the other. Did you see that Dodger Stadium home run?
Yeah. It was over the fucking, literally out of the park. It was over the overhang in the outfield. Sorry, I look it up because Wisconsin's doing a jump around right now at the game, and it's just hard not to look away. Anyway, go ahead.
He hit it to the parking lot. But
it was literally out of the park. It was out of the ballpark.
It's insane. Never seen something like that Dodger Stadium before. But I know it's tough. I think Juan Soto, what he's doing for like people who, if you really like the numbers, the kind of like the little things about baseball, even if his power is not there right now, if his RBI numbers aren't there right now because like you're just on a shit team. That's another thing. What if the Nats didn't just decide to blow it up and just held on to those guys and added a little bit? He should have easily been a front runner right now, especially with having Trey Turner in front of him.
They were pretty far out of it at that time, though, dude. I don't know if they make a resurgence.
Yeah, who knows? But I'd agree. If I were a betting man, logic tells me Bryce Harper's going to win it.
Logic tells me that, but the odds tell me like plus 600.
Yeah,
you put just like a few bucks down, it's worth it.
I think Bryce Harper has for the longest time.
You could hedge your bet and bet Bryce Harper also.
But I was going to say is, I think for the longest time, Bryce Harper has gotten a lot of undeserved hate from baseball fans because of his contract, because people say he's overrated. But if you look at all those numbers, Bryce Harper's still been a badass baseball player, even if he's never lived up to his hype.
Excuse me. But also it's because he is basically the equivalent of what Tatis is, but he started doing it in an era that wasn't accepting of that quite yet. Had Bryce Harper come around in 2019, it's a different story with Bryce Harper, in my opinion. I think he's a lot more accepted, but because he started doing that 2012, It's just society has changed. Millennials have taken over the voice of society, and yeah.
But I think this is going to be. I think it'll be more important to him than these other guys in this moment because I think this is a part of his legacy play.
Yeah,
I think if he's been kind of a borderline Hall of Fame right now, but if you put 2-time MVP with there on top of all the All-Star appearances, you know, assuming he kind of can continue at a pace that would get him there, he's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer. So
yeah,
my logic is him. My betting eye though would be Tatis. That's too spicy of a plus to put it down.
Hey,
that being said, you can't put.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying that being said, you can't place bets on MVP races anymore because it's too late.
Yeah, you can. But if you were a betting man and you had done it at the right time, you can hedge that bet. You could bet $10. I'm just very low bets. You could bet $100 on Bryce Harper, but if you bet $20 or no, $100 on Tatis, but if you bet $20 on Bryce Harper, you're gonna make more money anyway. So like a lot more money. So it's like, all right. So if Tatis wins, then at least I get my money back. You know what I mean? For those who aren't bettors out there, that's some advice for you.
Yeah. And well, I'm assuming we're going to get a little bit into this conversation probably over the next month as we do like our awards pods. All right, Chris, last but not least in this big three, it's getting wiggity wild, west or wild AL wild card.
You had it going there. You should have just
kept going. When was the last time you watched Wild West? Wild. I used to love that movie when I was a kid.
It was on like TBS like 4 months ago, and I was just like chilling on a Saturday during like the summer Saturdays when like there's no sports on Saturday, and I was just like, yeah, I'll watch it for like 30 minutes.
I'm assuming it's not a good movie.
Dude, Will Smith did that instead of The Matrix.
Have you looked at all the movies Will Smith has done?
We're not doing tangents this episode.
Oh, yeah, but a big one too is Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Anyways, Wild AL wild card. We have two as of this recording. It is 11:45 a.m. October 2nd Pacific time. The Yankees are currently losing to the Tampa Bay Rays 7-1 in the top of the fourth, which kind of will play into this whole scenario. Right now, they're 91-61. Assuming they lose this game, they'll be 91-70. Boston is 91-70. Seattle is 89-71. And Toronto is 89-71. So what does this all mean? If the Yankees just win, they're clinched.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be in. That'll be the end of that story. Robbie and his friends can all go circle jerk each other about John
their
Carlos
Twitter
Stanton
is going to be so annoying.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a wild card. Get over it. But if you want to be Team Chaos, like all of us are,
I'm an agent of chaos.
Yes, exactly. Toronto needs to win out, which they're playing Baltimore, so that's a possibility. The A's are playing, or the Mariners are playing the Angels.
How'd you even do it, bro?
I know. The Mariners are playing the Angels. If they win out, they'll be tied for the wild card spot. Now, if Boston, if they split the last two games and Yankees lose out, if all those things happen, we will have a 4-way tie for a wild card game.
Have you heard the scenarios for that?
It's pretty much like the basketball clip I sent you the other day.
It's fucking insane. So there's no like baseball. We talked about this last week. There's no like head-to-head matchups decide it. No, they like baseball goes to a 1-game playoff, but if there's 4 people involved, it's completely different. If there's 3 teams involved, it's even more crazy. But if there's 4 teams involved, basically the number 1 team with the head-to-head matchup advantage. So if it's the Yankees, which I think the Yankees have the head-to-head advantage over the Red Sox, I don't know about Seattle, they get to choose their opponent. Number 2 faces number 2 gets to choose their opponent as well, or gets to play the leftover opponent. If it's 3 teams, the Yankees have the head-to-head matchup against both Toronto and Boston. So the Yankees would be team A, Red Sox would be team B, and the Blue Jays would be team C. So if you're the Yankees, actually, sorry, you don't get to, you're not the top. You get to choose which team you want to be. You can either be scenario A or you can be scenario team C. The Yankees, well, if they choose to be team A, they get to host a 1-game playoff game against team B. And the winner of that game gets the first wild card spot. The loser of that game has to go travel to team C's location. So team C gets a home game, and they get to and the winner of that game gets a second wild card spot. So if you're the Yankees, would you rather be team C or be team A? You get 2 shots at it if you're team A, but if you lose the home game, you have to play away against team C. Whereas if you're team C, you only get 1 shot, but you get to host that game. Team B you have to play 2 away, or you have to play, whatever that scenario is. It's very interesting. Like Jeff Passan was talking about it the other day on ESPN Daily. It's like fucking fascinating.
And what makes it even worse for these teams is it's going to ruin your playoff rotation.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to one of these winner takes all tiebreaker game, if you're the Yankees, do you just have to throw Garrett Cole out there?
Yeah.
Like you have to. And then if you do that, okay, well, who you're going to throw in your wild card game now?
Yeah.
Like it just makes this whole situation more complicated.
But not only that, dude, so first game would be on Monday, game 2 would be on Tuesday. So if you're the Yankees and you lose your home game, you have to fly to Toronto and play the next day. It's not like a day off in between.
Chaos. It's absolute chaos.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. The Yankees look like absolute shit against the Rays right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really, really hope they don't win and they just lose out. Boston, I think Boston's going to be in good shape. They're playing the Nats. The Nats have just kind of fallen off. Baltimore has been playing upset lately.
Better. Yeah.
They've been playing upset baseball, so I can see them making a run. But Seattle with the Angels, that's going to be kind of a tricky one.
Yeah.
I think like last night it was a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah.
But it's great though. Seattle had like a full stadium, like 40,000 people in attendance. It's great to see like the fans actually showed up when a few players kind of voiced their concerns about it. I hope that happens in terms of just an absolute shit show and just to kind of have nobody wins. I think that'd be awesome.
Full disclosure, I'm pulling for the Mariners. I'm
absolutely.
I'm staying in division. Our friend of this podcast, friend of ours, Brad Field, is a massive Mariners fan. He's from Seattle. And the Hawks aren't doing so well, so he's more invested in the Mariners right now. And it's a 20-year like playoff drought, longest in baseball. So I'm pulling from the Mariners. If they make the playoffs, they're my number 2 team in the playoffs in general behind the Dodgers. So I want them, even though my bitterness against them because the A's, it's not their fault. It's the A's fault. So
yeah, it's not
I'm all on team. I'm all on Team Mariners right now. And how can you not love Kyle Seager? How can you not? Love
they have a lot of like.
How can you not love all their young talent? It's just especially when they moved Kendall Graveman at the deadline, just the big fuck you to front office. Like, we're gonna do this without your ass. And finally investing in the young talent was great. So I'm rooting for that.
Especially that we talked about at the beginning of the year with their team president who was caught like on the Boosters Club. Listen, like, oh yeah, Kellen X, like, and like how far they've come throughout the year. Awesome. I think
the coaching staff and the players just were like, fuck you, dude. We're going to fucking win this without your help.
I think you have to cheer for these guys. Like if you're not cheering for them, you don't care about baseball. Before we go on to the kind of the main conversation,
who doesn't live in
actually, I wanted to give you a couple of pop quizzes, a couple trivia questions.
And okay. After that, actually, let's take a break so I can refill.
Okay. Good call. 1. So the Seattle they would break their longest playoff drought in baseball right now if they advance. Who would have the longest playoff drought from that point on?
Oh man. Let me take a look.
Just looking at the teams.
Yeah.
You'll be a little surprised.
It's not in the American League.
That is correct.
And last year counts with the expanded playoffs, right?
Correct.
Is it the Reds?
Reds were in last year.
Oh, you're right.
They didn't score.
They were. That's right. Good point. Wow, this is tough. I mean, maybe the Pirates. The Pirates?
It was like what with that Andrew McCutcheon, Baby Garrett Cole teams.
Yeah,
it was like 2013, 2014.
Okay, so it's early. So it's later than that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one more shot. It might be in the American League. The Rangers?
Incorrect. They won the division like in 2016. Remember?
Oh fuck, they did.
Yeah,
that team
crazy.
had no business being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they had like an insane record and won games. It's like that was inevitable. Philadelphia will have the longest playoff drought. I think it was like 2011. No, it was like 2011 or 2010. I don't have the year in front of me. And the other question, Dusty Baker, screw the Astros forever. But I think we'll always have to root for Dusty Baker just because he's been such a dope person.
I'm not, because I just can't do it with the Astros. I want Dusty, go somewhere else.
Yeah. With Astros
Padres,
winning,
that actually seems like a pretty good
that
idea.
would be perfect for Dusty. He jumped in too early, but he has now won 5 division titles with 5 different teams. Name all 5 teams.
The Giants, the Nationals, the Reds,
the
Astros, Cardinals.
Incorrect.
He played for the Cardinals, right?
Maybe. I remember him as he was on the Dodgers.
Maybe I'm thinking of Joe Torre. So
same division.
Same division as the Cardinals. Okay. Did he? He didn't. No, not that one. Oh, the Cubs. Duh.
Yeah.
2003.
I was gonna say. I was about to tell you what's the Bay Area mode of transportation.
Yeah.
BART. I was like, BART, man. All righty, Chris. We're gonna take a quick break. Chris gonna fill up his mimosa, and we'll be right back. We're gonna have an honest. I have a big one, but I'll talk about it.
That is a big one.
Yeah, we're gonna have an honest conversation about this Oakland A's season. It's gonna be unscripted.
You don't have wine glasses, Julio?
I do, but I pictured like when drinking mimosas of like the mimosa glasses.
The thin glass.
Yeah, and I have those, but I'm like, nah, that's kind of a pain in the ass to go back to. Anyways, we're gonna have a raw conversation about the A's season. No, we have no script. We're really just kind of going off the top of our head. We're gonna ask questions how we really feel about it. So we'll be right back, folks. Mimosa time.